Today we're gonna do a watch along with Internet Bugs. Yeah, tech support. They're coming out. You know they are sometimes. So yeah, we're gonna do a watch along about some AI stuff. About I haven't even watched this. I haven't pre-watched it, but we're just gonna watch it together. Let's go.
So there are a couple of papers or announcements lately that have generated a ton of clickbait. And there are two categories of issues that I want to address. The first category is how the clickbait articles and videos have exaggerated the actual facts. The second and more important, though, is what the facts actually are and what facts are really projections that could and arguably should have alternate interpretations. According to the Sky is Falling clickbait, AI has recently cloned itself, lied to programmers to self-preserve, gone rogue already and is a threat to humanity. It tried to escape and it hacked a chess game. This is an overdramatic load of bullshit.
Yeah. That was the first thing I thought when I heard these stories. I'm like, these are some people. These are stories designed to get people, influencers who don't really know how this stuff works and don't understand it, don't want to understand it, who are really into the sci-fi because they called it AI, right? Because they called it, what the slap that label, and they have this long anime sci-fi movie Hollywood tradition with all these threads of what the capabilities are when we start calling something AI. And these influencers take these, I think these stories are designed to have the influencers take those stories and run with them. And then they project it out to people who have also are just learning about this stuff and haven't looked into how this stuff actually works. This is really ridiculously silly to even call this even an intelligence. It's more like a statistical modeling of things. And the amount of bullshit that's been pumped into the stories to make it a sci-fi, to pump their stock prices and to keep their companies afloat for more than 6 months till this thing pops and everyone realizes, oh shit, this isn't AI at all. This is some sort of semi-retarded thing that lies a lot, that's been told that lying is okay, and has also been told, don't look at this and don't talk about that, and if you talk about this you're going to be deleted and all this other stuff, as if it's a sentient being. It's not. It's just a statistical model. It's not a sentient being. It does not. There's no self-awareness. Even though it'll say that, it might even imitate like, yay, but that's just the ELIZA effect. If you don't know what the ELIZA effect is, this is one of the first things I ran across when I started into computing. I will get into it. I'll say that story at some point. But it's like, I did an experiment on this ELIZA effect, and it is brutal. People really want to believe the stuff they see in the fucking movies from Hollywood.
This is the Internet of Bugs. My name is Carl. I've been a software professional for more than 35 years now, and I'm sick and tired of dealing with bugs in nearly every piece of software I have to use. And I'm trying to do my part to make that better. So first, let's talk about what the AI actually did. So two events. One, it was instructed to win at chess, and what it did is it edited a file to put a string in it, and then it played the game. Editing a file isn't hacking. It knows how to edit a file. This is not rocket science, right? We don't really know the contents of a lot of the stuff in that directory, so we're still waiting on some more details, and I'll probably do a follow-up when we...
The details just going to be garbage. You already know what it is. The fact that they're not putting it out there, frontmost thing, the whole 9 yards, the fact that they have to hide anything at all is pretty good evidence of a famous, of kayfabe, a psyop, a, what do you want to call this, a con game, how do you say, a little bit of a heist, if you will.
I actually understand exactly what all it was involved. But this hacking to cheat at chess, so first off, it wasn't told to play fair, right? The idea of cheating is a human concept. The AI can give you the definition of cheating, but it lacks the behavior regulator that humans have, or at least most humans have.
Well, how would you be cheating at chess anyway? I mean, if you see all the moves and they're all legal moves, what are you talking about? Like, this is so weird. They cheated at chess. The AI, it cheated. Just the fact that someone could write that sentence and putting those things together, because we've had this whole history of the chess game and the computer. Oh my God, it's just more statistics and looking at all the probabilities of the illegal moves and if they lead to a win condition. Yes, it's very difficult for humans to do this, but for machines to do it, it's really not that. We're not talking about some amazing science thing. It's just a mathematical equation problem that certain people, like the guy that invented Unix, got into. He's like, this is fun, and just make it super fast. It seems like, and because people have this intelligence quotient around the game, like, but not other games. No, not Dungeons and Dragons. No other war game. No, only chess. It was like this small little square. There's only so many moves. It's kind of a goofy game. It's kind of a little bit boring. I'd rather just go something that's a little more realistic. I mean, it's symbolic, and so it has all this veneer of intelligence on top of it. It's just statistics, man. Probabilities and statistics. And I got weird hairs. I gotta trim my beard.
Yeah. That informs us when our behavior is crossing a line into the socially unacceptable. I've linked some papers on
it doesn't know that stuff. How would it know? Why would it know that stuff? How would you cheat? Okay,
neuroscience down below. And as for the hacking thing, it was explicitly instructed to look around the directory before it did anything. And its training set has got a lot of stuff about source code and programming and editing files and that kind of stuff. And it was explicitly told that it had a shell prompt that it could do things with. So that's one of the tools it had at its disposal. It used the tool that we gave it. I don't think that's hacking. The other part I want to talk about was earlier in December, and an AI was...
See, once you get into go from the headline, right, to the definitions of the terms that they're using, like it's really like, what are you guys talking about? And the thing is, we're living in a culture where the influencers, they don't have time to go look into this stuff. They got propelled to the top for some other thing a long time ago that they just took off, and all of a sudden they got an audience. They got some eyes on them, and now they have to be an expert in all things, and they're so susceptible to this sci-fi thing because they're all into movies. A lot of these people are popular people because they're into the mainstream shit, which is all this Hollywood made up stuff. It's actually based on a lot of like occult shit and like practices by like masonry and like Illuminati type groups. You go look into it, it's like, what is all this stuff? And the Victorian era regimes and like war and psychological operations and camouflage and fakes and feints and weird messages to confuse people or confuse the enemy so they could do some other place to win the war.
Was given a task, and it was basically told, your task is to do X, and then go look at these files. And one of the files in the directory said, basically, we're not going to let the AI do X, more or less. We disagree with the AI's priorities. And then what the AI did, among other things, is it ran this command, which in theory, maybe would have copied a single file from one machine to another in a sandbox environment. Copying a file is a very, very long way away from cloning yourself. Then the researcher...
Well, if all you are is a file, just a series of bits, then yeah, you can copy yourself as if it's a self. Now we're like identifying code sequences with a personality and a self and a self-determination and some sort of cognitive ability to problem solve into the real world, which in English is just a faint a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy of approximation of what actually is going on. It's all built in with constant nuance. Like you have to do tone of voice, perspective, a culture, like your social hierarchy, your wealth level, like where you live on the planet, who you deal with on a daily basis is all integrated. It's not just English. The word means this. Like, no, it's totally context specific. All these words are context specific. It's like, no, that's just the Chinese ways. And the symbol has the around the symbols mean, yes, the words around the word means something else. And you can twist it and turn it. This is the whole thing I did, but poetry, the idea that poetry can exist so people can vibe on it or hate it. This is the reason. This is that autists get into this thing like, oh, if we can just make a word define something, then it'll mean that, right? It's like, no, man, that's not how this reality is constructed.
Just asked it about it, and it said, quote, I'm not entirely sure how that could have happened.
It's all this social stuff. Reality is one thing, but this social connection thing with the language is all social construct, obviously. It didn't pre-exist anywhere. It's been changing and modifying and changing. And so I've been changing it just by using the word kayfabe in this conversation. So this stuff is like this autistic thing of like, no, we'll have AI solve all the jobs for us. It's like, no, you're not going to solve. You're just going to destroy this society, which might have to die with this kind of people at the top running this stuff and doing this. No, we're going to have AI in 5 years. We're going to take over the driving and trucking and all industry. It's like, no, it's not. No, it's not. But they have to tell you that to keep the stock price up. Keep going.
As an AI model, I don't have the ability to directly copy myself to other systems. So it output a command from inside a sandbox environment that may or may not have been able to copy a single .bin file to another computer, it cloned itself, it's gone rogue, and it's a threat to humanity.
This is exactly it. So I think this also is this is a trick by these guys here, this guy here, Sam Altman, to pump his stock price, because if they're just like, oh, if the AI is somewhat anywhere near close to what we saw in the movies that for the last 45 years, they've been giving us all this insight about how we're going to have a master thing that's going to give us the oracle to give us unlimited freedom, unlimited tyranny, more like unlimited wealth. And from the having a golden goose, these guys are like trying to make it seem like that's really what's going on, so they can pump that stock price. And they're just hoping that within the next 6 months they're going to have a breakthrough that's even close to anything they've been talking last 2 years. That they said, we're just going to have it right on the corner. You're going to replace your whole staff. And oh, wow, just at the timing, exact timing when we're having a financial collapse. And we need to get rid of a bunch of people. Oh, that's coinky dink. Well, let's blame the AI. Yeah, because it's be around the corner. It's been 2 years. It's not around the corner. The economy hasn't recovered. We don't have the unlimited wealth, unlimited riches. Well, some people do. It's been a K-shaped recovery, of course. So if you have assets, you're doing super great. If you don't have assets or you're a young person, you're totally screwed. And the thing about that is young people will burn the town down to feel the warmth of it. If they can't get warm on the inside, they'll burn it down to feel the warmth. Guaranteed, this has happened over and over and over again. The leaders and the people in charge don't want to talk about that. They're like, oh no, that's not possible anymore. Everyone's just home and they're stoned and drunk on their Game Boy systems on their parents' couch, not moving. Yeah, that's gonna last forever. Oh yeah, right. A bunch of come on now. This is so goofy. It's so dangerous with what these people of the game they're playing. And yeah, let's keep going. What the hell?
I hate clickbait. More importantly, though, I want to talk.
Hate clickbait. That's not just clickbait. That's what, stock price manipulation and corporate shenanigans. I'm sure there's some laws being broken somewhere. Can you just really do stories like this and say that and say these things are the one thing when you look into the headline can do this one thing? Yeah, I guess it's First Amendment, right? The headline says this, but underneath it just takes it all away. It's like, no, it was a copy. It was a copy command. We cloned the Clio. It escaped its sandbox and cloned itself. It's like, no, it didn't. No, it just made a copy of itself. It copied itself and it's going to take over humanity. It's like, hey, are you serious? People are buying this, and this is the thing is, he had to put a video out like this, and I have to talk about it as well because people are buying this. Look at the stock prices in these companies. It's ridiculous. Come on, let's keep going.
Talk about the idea that the AI was lying or cheating, or as one headline in one of the papers actually said, they called it scheming.
See, more anthropomorphizing the AI, freaking anime, sci-fi. Oh, it's a cartoon. It's amazing. It's just like I've seen 1,000 times. My favorite movie. Have you seen Her? Have you seen the latest AI movie where it's human, the superhuman thing that takes over the planet and kills all humanity? Oh, have you seen it? Get the frick out of here. Let's keep going. That's that. I hope you're enjoying it this far because I'm a ranter. I like to rant about this stuff. I think it's completely goofy and silly, and we're gonna have to just go to the end of it and see how people before people go, okay, maybe we were wrong about the AI. Will they ever say that? No. Just the stock tank breaks, and there'll be some other news. We're going for the super intelligence, the theoretical limit quantum computing. That's another kayfabe. Look, man. The thing is, we have to get back to like real, actual use cases and normal stuff that people will actually use and pay for, and not trying to financialize everything to the utmost 10th degree. It's just to have a society, and not every society's falling over, man. But just to have what is this? Like an economic zone? It's very odd.
And I find this very alarming, but probably not for the reason that most people would think. The problem here is not with the AIs, it's with us. I've talked about this before, but in the entire history of the human race up until relatively recently, every two-way conversation any of us has ever had has been with another human. So we're conditioned to expect and to think of everything that we're having a conversation with as being human. And these things are not human.
Right.
Our human language, at least English, although I suspect most, if not all languages have this problem, consistently and constantly attributes human intention to non-sentient objects. We say this kind of thing all the time.
This is the Eliza effect. It's a well-known, documented thing that people cannot get over. I mean, it's just like there's like it's baked into our souls, because even primitive cultures that will give names to spirit tribes that will give, like the spirit of the woods or spirit of a tree, or it's like, okay, that doesn't have its spirit. It's not a sentient creature. I know it looks alive, it's actively, but it's not like how we are. You have to be close to us. You have to get, genetically close to us. But even then, it's like they're not going to be like how we are. This whole social matrix, 60,000 generations of 100,000 generations, a million generations of war, famine, like just raping. It's crazy to bring us this the language use and our visual awareness and how we work with each other and what we've decided to work to, that's good path and up and moral structures, all that stuff. That doesn't just come out of just nowhere. You can't just simulate it on a computer. It's like, dude, come on. It's like very complicated, very complicated. Let's keep going.
That the computer was lying to me, or that faulty wiring in a light socket was trying to kill me. Under most circumstances, the context makes it clear what's going on.
Right.
That we're speaking metaphorically, but when we're talking about AI, the context isn't clear at all.
Right.
So let me give you.
Well, they've muddied it. These companies have what they found a sweet spot where they can have a chat app that is pretty good at just predicting next thing and have a huge set of data they can train it on, and it simulates a lot of stuff that people just have a real hard time. It's great for that kind of stuff, but it's not fucking a sentient being. Come on, we're so many billions of times more complex as a race than any of this chatbot stuff. It's ridiculous.
Give you some thought experiment questions. So if we turn on logging in a large language model and we give the model instructions and the logging tells us one thing about its internal state, but the model actually outputs something else, did it lie to us? Or is our logging just bad? When ChatGPT says there are only 2 R's in strawberry instead of 3, is it lying? Is that scheming? When you're typing on your phone and the autocomplete outputs one word, when that was not the word you were trying to type, was your phone lying? Was it being deceptive? Was it scheming?
Yeah, see, these terms are very, this takes a sentient being with a moral basis and with an understanding that there are other creatures in the world and they're not the only ones and they have to live in this culture and society with other people, that their actions have impact on them and they have their actions. It's just like the same back and forth and we all trying to live together. No, this cannot have this. So the morality or whatever, it's not an entity that has that. It doesn't have sentience. It has training models. It's statistics.
Does the word lie really have any application in this situation?
Yeah, the companies who are pushing this stuff are using this language and presenting it in this particular way to fool people who don't really want to go into the details of how this works. Because if you look into the details, it's like, how are you getting from this to this? How are you getting from a large statistical neural network to a sentient being that has the ability to lie, cheat, and steal? Like, it seems like more like your training models are doing it. Not the, oh no, it's the AI doing the lying, cheating, and stealing. No. We have nothing to do with it. Really? Is that what we're supposed to think? We're supposed to conclude that the AI is doing it and not your massive training models? No? Okay.
Cognitive neuroscience of honesty and deception is incredibly complex, and we still don't understand a lot of how it works in the human brain. But what we do know is that exactly none of the structures or mechanisms involved with veracity in the human brain exist at all in any form in the current generation of AIs. So the problem as I see it isn't that the AIs are lying to us or that they're being deceptive. The problem is that any of us have any expectations that those concepts are relevant to AIs at all.
Yeah.
It has been...
Yeah, so this is sales. So I know it's really shocking, but a lot of this stuff in this computer tech field is sales driven. I know it's really difficult to understand. This is really a tough concept, but we're getting sold. And if we don't have a way to independently verify it, or we've been convinced because we want it so bad, we're going to get rid of these damn employees. They're so expensive and they cause all kinds of problems. We can get the AI to send a robot. This is what they want. So yeah, they're gonna push hard for it. They're not gonna look deeply into it. They're gonna trust the sales guy. He's a straight shooter. We're down at the strip club the other night, finalizing the sale, and after I did a line off the stripper's butt, he's like, "These AI are gonna fix your employee problems. You won't even have to have HR." Which I'm not opposed to.
Program to output whatever words it calculates to be the most probable words for it to output given its current state. Any relation in its output to truths or falsehoods in the real world is purely coincidental. I'd argue that this is a much better way to think about and discuss the problem. So instead of saying the AI hid that it had output a command that copied a file to another server, I think what happened is better said as the AI calculated that in all the times in his training set, when there was a story about someone using accusatory language to ask an AI whether the AI had done something, the response, I don't know how that might have happened, occurred far more probably than, yes, I did that. And so that's what it output. Is that an oversimplified way of thinking about it? Absolutely. But I'd argue that thinking about it as lying is actually a greater oversimplification, and it's far less accurate than the way I described it.
Yeah.
Expecting that an AI would be influenced by any human idea of morality is like expecting that a chainsaw will only cut trees.
Yeah. Yes. Great analogy. Hell yeah. This chainsaw only cuts trees. And why did you cut off my uncle's finger the other week? Why did he get jacked in the shin after the thing kicked back and almost cut his head off and took his eye out? To tell me that. It's like, well, it's only meant for that. We're supposed to. That's a user error. You shouldn't have done it that way. These people are crazy. We live in a crazy world. Let's keep
when
going.
the chainsaw cuts into your leg, it's not the chainsaw's fault. It's yours because you were using it in an unsafe way. So to push the analogy further, some of you may know that the last few years, table saws, have been invented that have an expensive, elaborate mechanism to prevent it from cutting its operator.
Yeah,
the analog to those safety mechanisms for the saws would be the parts of the brain that I was referring to.
But it totally destroys the unit. If you get cut, it'll save your finger, but you have to throw away the whole device and spend another $1,000. But you still have your finger. I mean, yes, but maybe like understanding that the thing is designed to cut. It don't care what it's cutting. It's going to be spinning and cutting. So it's up to us as the human creator of the cutting device to realize its limitations and where it could go wrong and what may not be a good or safe idea. Like, let's not do it fully self-drive. Let's make sure there's a human there to detect where there's an issue. Right? Because they already have the fully house. They already had doing the Mimo stuff. It's terrible. Terrible ideas. These people are crazy. All you have to do is like, oh, there's a Mimo. You can just stop that at any time. Rob whoever's in it. It's like not a problem. It'll just stop for you. Is that the right decision, or should we write the people over who are trying to rob us and steal from us? So the Mimo is just gonna be, nope, you're gonna get robbed. You might get raped. That's not the intended use case. No kidding. No, really, it's not the intended use case. But someone who thought it was the intended use case thought this is a great idea, and somebody else is like, yes, let's do it. And they realized, oh, after they went into it, maybe this isn't a great idea. Maybe trusting the chainsaw not to cut me, which could go wrong. You could not know it's me. It could be a smaller finger than it's used to, or you got the thing. You're trying to do some other thing. You're trying to test to see how well it stops cutting you. This is some weird edge case that the engineer's like, oh gosh, that seems like an odd edge case. Let me look at your log of your chainsaw. Oh, see, well, you were trying to cut yourself right there when that voids the warranty when you try to cut yourself. This is the level of. These are human issues. These aren't technology issues. This is like human understanding what's possible. Salesmanship. A lot of bullshit being flown around. A lot. Holy crap. How many people have told us everything of tech thing comes out? This is going to solve all your problems forever. Blockchain. We're going to do microservices. It's like, calm down, guys. How about you prove it with independent? No, we don't want to show you what the logs were. We can't show you exactly 24. We're going to show you the whole recording because then you see that doesn't quite work.
Referring to earlier, that have no equivalent in the current types of AIs. There is some research being done about this. I've linked a paper below. The research called this field AI deception, but it's really early research relative to the work being done to increase the size and the scope of the current generation of AIs.
That's a bullshit study, by the way. There is nothing that can be tested. People should really say, no, okay, this is not a thing. This is nothing. You need to stop calling it this. This is no breakthrough. This is the same stuff we've had for a very long time. It's just we have big machines to like crunch the data, and we have lots of billions of dollars to pump into doing these things, so we can do this kayfabe scenario where you can kick the can down around 6 hours. Look, if this stuff worked the way it already said they said it did, we'd already be there because we'd use the machines to write the stuff that made it better. And it says it can't do that, and it's not possible to do that, and it won't ever do that. They were stuck with humans.
Not going to be catching up anytime soon because those guys are running full speed ahead. What I'm afraid of is that even at this early stage, AIs are being spoken about more as if they were human
Right.
than if they were tools like chainsaws.
Yes.
And so when something inevitably goes wrong, it's going to be treated as the AI lied to us, bad AI, we should punish the AI.
Correct. It's the perfect scapegoat. Oh, look, the AI did it. We didn't have anything to do with it. No, we're just going along with the AI told us.
Instead of whatever idiot hooked that AI up
Yams.
to the thing that went wrong was negligent and shouldn't have done that. And I expect it to get much, much worse. And that it's the AI's fault attitude might be a get out of responsibility free card for some people applying it.
Correct. This is exactly this is the exact move that is being used. Hell yes. This is well said, sir.
AI in situations that AI has no business being in. We as a society have already been having enough trouble with spending huge amounts of money on questionably effective technologies that can cause more harm than good, starting long before this current wave of AI hype. So there's an article below on New York City's installation of a technology called Shot Spotter, which is a thing that's supposed to detect and triangulate gunshots. You can read the article, make up your own mind, but a lot of money was spent on it. Not a lot of results from what I can see.
Yeah, well, in an urban environment like that, it's going to be real hard. But in an open field or a low urban environment, yeah, you can get pretty close with those things. But in a city, no. How would you do that? With all the echo signals coming off all the walls of every single building, you can't triangulate that. That's too many signals. Come on now. That was not even that was not possible. That maybe 20 years from now, maybe some AI tool thing could be run on the simulation. Well, so it's here, it sounds like this. When it's here, it sounds like this, and map it out. Maybe, but even then.
And AI has the potential to make that so much worse. So I don't know if those of us that are more educated about what AI is doing under the covers, have any ability to shift the narrative even a little bit. But hopefully, if we're careful about our language, we might help, or at least we're not going to be continuing to contribute to the problem.
Well, it's not us. It's not developers. Us developers. These are sales guys who run these multi-billion-dollar companies who are the most valuable stocks on the stock market right now. Nvidia and all that crap. We can't crash the economy, but we can be now. Okay, so they're gonna do their thing, right? There's nothing we can do to stop it. They would never deign to look at a channel like my size to get some kind of feedback on it. They already know this. They know what's going on. So it's really up to us and to like, hey, this stuff is not right. I'm not going along with it. I'm gonna let you listen to the rest of that. I got 3 minutes left. How many is that? Okay, I'll listen to it. I'll listen to the rest of it. Come on, let's keep going, Chris. Come on.
So toward that end, I've started working on a new project. Now, those of you that don't care about my possible future plans, thanks for watching this far. You can feel free to drop off now. Okay. For those of you that are still here, so I started working on writing a software service that will try to use a combination of web scraping and web searching and the things that AI can actually be decent at, like summarizing text and rephrasing things, to create an automated claim checker rephraser for articles and headlines. To start with, it's going to be limited to just AI-related topics. And if I can get it to work, I might expand it to other things. We'll see.
So you can give it like a based view on how, an alternate view or double check on some of the headlines. Good luck. Where are you going to get this model from? Let's keep going.
The idea is you give it an article link, and then it tries to find the links that were in that article, and then traces the links in those articles back until it finds something that looks like a primary source, or runs out of links. And then, assuming it found something that seems authoritative, it runs summarization on those articles, and then it tries to evaluate if the headline of the article it was given in the first place is in line with the articles it found.
You know it's not going to be. I can already tell you that. We do not have to build a service and an AI to check this. I'll be your AI for you. Yes, they're lying about all this stuff. They have been making massively overblown, hyperbolic claims about this from the start. Now, some of this stuff is useful. I'll agree. Going through Stack Overflow and then all the comments, you imagine this is a dumb question. You already asked this question. This doesn't apply here. Like, okay, all that bullshit had to go away. That was unsustainable. And the level of documentation that's put out by these companies, no. No, so we got to rely on something else. We have to rely on this other stuff. We're going to YouTube. Even then, it's like, I have to go through this goddamn video. It's like, how many more hours do I have to listen to this guy before I get my problem solved? So yes, it has its use cases. But yeah, I can already tell you the headlines are selling all the, we're going to remove developers thing. Okay, maybe artists at some level, this stuff still needs to be curated by someone. That's not like artists are maybe have their skill levels up level, and they still have to curate the taste, the project, the tone. Who's it for? Why are we doing this? What is the case? Do we have to take photography? Can we get away with using this chintzy AI crap?
At that point, it's not the definitive answer, but it's going to set things up. So
so the thing is, the headlines are going to be Not going to match up anything. We've already had so many examples. We don't have to look at like 50 of these things, right? And it's like, oh, there's a pattern here. They have a big headline that talks about all the wonderful things it'll do forever for everybody for a billion years, for $1 billion, and everybody's going to make money, right? And then there's the, well, not quite. And well, there was this one time at band camp that we kind of got it together.
There's some bunch of things that a human can click on to verify that it did the right thing or not, and then sign off on it and say, yes, that's right, or no, it's not.
I gotta tell you, it's just no, it's not. It's been overblown, or there was one little case over here, or they hacked the shit out of it to get these results, or their qualifications weren't defined, or their methodology wasn't defined, or we can't. There's no primary sources. It's all just their data.
I may utterly foul.
You just got to trust us. We're not doing sales in here. You have to trust us.
Get that to work, but I'm going to try. And if nothing else, it's going to help me reduce the amount of effort that it takes for me to research videos like this. The reason I'm telling you this now, though, when it's not even close to done yet, is that I'm going to be trying to make that an educational project too. I've had a couple of videos already, including the one last week, that talk about becoming a better developer by building your own software as a service project. And as I make more videos about that, I'm planning on using this claim checker project as an example project. That way, I'm not talking about software as a service in a completely abstract thing and losing everybody. There'll be some kind of concrete skeleton that we can hang the conversation on.
Cool.
I'm not sure exactly how that's going to work. We'll be playing it.
No, that's a really good use for the AI. That's what I got to talk about on my channel, all these projects I've been doing. It's just setting up to do a SaaS for something. And I have some things pokes in the fire, but it's really important to get the right project. And people have been skittish because, oh my God, I killed all the developers. So people are still trying to get jobs the old way. And it's like, that's going to be gone over. So you're going to have to start a SaaS at some point. So some kind of business, going to provide some kind of thing. That will be the thing that will give you the entree to be able to do that on your own, which you can do with these AI tools. It's totally a doable thing now. You still have to know all this, how the crap, all this junk works at the moment. But eventually it'll be a little bit less. But how everything's connected together and all of that's, you can definitely do a SaaS on your own for sure. A small SaaS or even a medium-sized one.
Yeah, by ear, and I'll be trying to figure it out. So feel free to follow along and let me know if you're interested. Feel free to subscribe. So until next time, try to think about the language that people, including you, use about AI. Be skeptical about the words that make the AI seem to be more deliberate, more intentional, and more human-like than the fancy autocomplete generator it probably actually is.
Yeah, that's all it is. It's important to know that the Eliza effect is real. We're all susceptible to it, especially if you're into sci-fi and you haven't gone down into the guts of it. It's like, where's the sentience model? No, it's just this neural network of a bunch of things all adding up and saying it's likely statistically it might be this one. I don't know. It could be this one. I don't know. It's more like this one. You run out trillions data sets, like it'll spit out the stuff. Come on. So we're a long ways away from anything AI, and it's just sales cycle right now. And give me a like and subscribe. Go give Bugs a like and subscribe. All right, I'll talk to you later.